Hello everybody, thank you for joining me for part 3 of your weekend love reading for May 1st to May 3rd, 2020. This is going to be for signs Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. This can apply to any of those placements that you have, but even if you don't have any of those placements, you'll have them in one of your houses. So I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. Keep in mind time and energy are fluid, so these messages can apply to you, another person, or vice versa. Don't force it if it doesn't fit. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But that said, I'm going to take a deep breath to connect deeper with my higher self and spirit, and I do implore you to do the same. Call to Spirit to please help myself and anyone watching this to hear, see, and know anything we need to hear, see, and know for the weekend of May 1st to May 3rd, 2020 in love, keeping in mind this can apply anytime you watch it. Hello Sagittarius, hope you're doing well. Keep in mind this can apply to any Sagittarian placement you have in your chart. If you are a cross-watcher, I do not judge you, but keep in mind that while you may not have a Sagittarian placement, you will have Sagittarius in one of your houses. That said, I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. Keep in mind time and energy are fluid, so these messages can apply to you, another person, or vice versa. Don't force it if it doesn't fit. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. That said, we're going to do 3 shuffles and get into your energies for the weekend of May 1st to May 3rd in love, keeping in mind this can apply at any time you watch it. Got the deck for you, let's see what we got. Oops. Alright, Sagittarius, what do we have? We have the Emperor, we have the Judgment reverse, Queen of Swords reverse, Queen of Pentacles reverse, 7 of Pentacles reverse, and then 6 of Swords. Well, it's looking like somebody here is ready to walk away from something, or is more so done with the games. But I feel like more than anything, what I'm picking up on is this Emperor energy here. This can represent your inner masculine energies. It can represent a counterpart situation, but I don't see any kind of other indicators of that on the table. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to your internal masculine energy, keeping in mind we all have the inner feminine and masculine energies within us. But what I'm seeing here is you're kind of seeing the error of your ways. It's this energy of kind of seeing the ways in which you were being toxic and understanding that you kind of have to face the consequences of that. But it's not looking like it's going to be something that lasts forever. You know what I mean? I feel like the fact that you're kind of recognizing and you're doing what it is you feel is right to try to make amends, or whatever it is you're doing right now, I feel like it's helping you move to calmer waters with the 6 of Swords here. Like by you walking away from people that are either playing games, or whether you're the one that was playing games, it looks like it's going to work out for the benefit of everybody involved. But I do feel like it's going to take you recognizing the ways in which you may have been toxic, or recognizing the fact that just because you love somebody doesn't mean you should keep them in your life if they are having a negative influence on your mental, emotional, or spiritual health. But I'm going to go ahead and clarify for you. Because like these 2 queens here, I feel like it can represent other people. Like we have earth energy and air energy. But I really feel like this is just applying to the characteristics of these court cards in the reverse. Like the Queen of Swords reverse is somebody who's very vindictive, somebody who's very quick to use their words against other people without thinking about the consequences. The Queen of Pentacles reverse can represent somebody who's, I want to say, kind of lazy, stubborn, a hoarding type of energy, but more so hoarding the emotions and really keeping yourself locked up and not really speaking your mind to people. So it's like these 2 characteristics involved here. I feel like those are things that you're getting over now. And that's why the Emperor's in the upright. Like if the Emperor were in the reverse, I feel like the surrounding energies would be speaking a lot more of the fact that you're still in that kind of energy, but I feel like the fact that it's in the upright is telling me that you're working past that, you're moving past your old ways, and you're really stepping into your Emperor power. One more shuffle for you, then we'll clarify. There's a Seven of Pentacles reversed to me. It talks about really walking away from the games and not wanting to be involved with any type of immature type of energy. I suppose we're going to clarify those. So we have the Ten of Cups coming out, which is very nice. And then we have the Two of Pentacles, really not bad at all. Then we have the Star, and we have the Tower. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this Queen of Wands reverse here too. I mean, it's not reverse, excuse me. It was reversed at the bottom of the deck with the other deck, but it came out in the upright here, which I feel like speaks of the energy you need to be embodying right now. I mean, this could very well be your energy. This is Sagittarius reading. It's fire sign, fire energy. I feel like the main message from the universe right now is kind of just learning to trust everything that is falling apart for you right now. Even though it can be scary, I feel like you may have come into some endings with some people, like with these two queens in reverse. Like it could also represent the endings with multiple people, or maybe you're kind of doing a life review where you're really going over everything that has happened with your last relationships, and you're kind of using that as a benchmark and as a guideline for what you want to do moving forward with other people, with any aspect in life. But I think this is really nice way to close the reading here with your last pull, aside from the closing message that I'll do after this. But the last, clarifying message here, because we have the Star and the Tower. And the Tower, I don't know, I mean, I feel like it gets a bad rep sometimes, but I feel like the Tower only shows up when it's really necessary for us to level up, or the universe is forcing things out of our life because we're not really listening to our internal guidance, or we're just making poor choices that aren't really serving any kind of well-being for ourselves or other people. But what I'm hearing now is like there's like an end to the juggling. And that's what I'm seeing with this Two of Pentacles here. It can represent balance or choices, but I feel like this represents a juggling type of energy between these two people. Maybe you were kind of trying to make a choice between two different people. Maybe you were seeing multiple people, you were dating multiple people, and maybe that's coming to an end. Maybe things are falling through with those people for completely different reasons. I mean, it doesn't really seem like a third party type of thing. It just seems like maybe you have multiple people you've been talking to, and it just seems like that's not really working out so well. But I feel like it's going to be serving a greater purpose here, because we have the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups can represent emotional abundance, can represent wish fulfillment, can also represent the end of emotional cycles, the end of relationships, the end of cycles in relationships. And I feel like that's more so what's being talked about right now, especially with the Tower here and the Star. It's like this is a divinely orchestrated type of event that is going to lead you to a deeper sense of emotional fulfillment. And it's going to lead you to a deeper sense of balance too, because even though the Two of Pentacles can be a juggling type of card, I feel like it can also represent you coming into balance between your inner feminine and masculine energies. Just the two in the tarot can represent the duality of your light and shadow. And so maybe kind of going back to the message earlier, talking about how you were starting to recognize the ways in which you were toxic, but you've been balancing that out. And I think the main message for that is to not judge yourself so harshly. And I see that here with the Judgment reverse. It's like you're being way too hard on yourself. You got to understand, like, we all have our flaws, and we all are bound to make mistakes at some point. But there's really no reason to hold you back from enjoying the things that are being presented to you in life. Like, just because you did some terrible things doesn't mean you don't enjoy to be loved, or doesn't mean you don't deserve to be loved or to have any type of abundance in your life. I think the important thing there is to just hold yourself accountable to what you did and make sure to not repeat those same mistakes. Keeping in mind this can go both ways. Like if this is another person you're dealing with and this is their energy coming through and it fits, go ahead and, apply that. But if not, don't force it. If there's not any message here coming through for you, maybe it's just not the reading for you. There's tons of other Sagittarius readings I have out for part 3s. If you go to the playlist, I'll have it in my description. Yeah, because it's basically timeless reading, so you'll be able to find every other part 3 I did for the past 2 months, I think. Is it 2 months? It's already going on 3 months. Oh, wait, this would be the end of the 3rd month. Yeah, because I started in February, so this would be the 3rd month. So about 3 months worth of weekend love readings But anyways, we're gonna do a final clarifying closing message. Okay, Sagittarius, we have the orangutan, and it says, working to live joyously, not living to work. And I really feel like this speaks of the inner work that you're doing right now, because the fact that you have the Emperor here with some of the feminine aspects on the table in the reverse tells me that you're healing the ways in which your inner feminine wounding has led to less than satisfactory situations, maybe has led to a lot of pain between you and other people. But it looks like you're coming to the end of that. It's just a similar message that's been coming through for every single sign almost for the parts 1 and 2. It's this message of needing to detach from your shadow at some point. Really not finding the need to do the work all the time. Like, yeah, like hold yourself accountable and like do what you need to do the inner work, but don't dwell on that. The longer you dwell on that, the longer you're going to keep repeating that in the body. You know, as you revisit these scenarios, you're emotionally recreating these situations which your body reacts to as if it's actually happening again. So I think the main message, closing message here for you Sagittarius, is to find a balance between doing the shadow work and to make sure to be a little bit easier on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Everybody's doing their best, including you. So that said, that's all I have for you, Sagittarius. If you'd like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. Love you so much. Stay safe and stay calm out there, and I'll see you in your next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, Capricorn. Hope you're doing well. Keep in mind this can apply to any Capricorn placement you have in your chart. If you're a cross-watcher, I do not judge you, but keep in mind that while you may not have a Capricorn placement, you will have Capricorn in one of your houses. That said, I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. Keep in mind time and energy are fluid, so these messages can apply to you, another person, or vice versa. Don't force it if it doesn't fit. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. That said, we're going to do 3 shuffles and get into your energies for the weekend of May 1st to May 3rd, 2020 in love. Keeping in mind, it's going to apply to any time you watch it. Alright, Capricorn, did I just paper cut myself with my own cards? No, I didn't. Felt like it though. Alright, so what do we have for you, Capricorn? We have the Princess of Pentacles can be your energy here. Earth sign, you know, we have the Magician reverse. We have the King of Pentacles, could also be your energy here. Then we have the Ten of Wands, Justice reverse, and go ahead and leave it there. I'm feeling like you're coming out of something with somebody that was karmic in nature. I feel like you've made the decision to not move forward with somebody because of the fact that there was a lot of injustice in the relationship. We kind of have counterparts. I mean, it could be a younger person you're dealing with. I feel like this could be your energy here, the King of Pentacles. Princess of Pentacles could be somebody younger that you were dealing with. It could be somebody new. It doesn't always have to be somebody younger. But I feel like whatever this was, it doesn't really seem like there's any mutual decision to bring it together. I feel like both of you have either been through a lot outside of this relationship or have been through a lot together. And that is really influencing the decision to not move forward with this, because the fact that the Magician is in the reverse tells me there's really no movement or manifestation of any further connection, even though you're both in the upright. So that can tell me there's like an amicable mutual separation or whatever, but the fact that there's a Ten of Wands in Justice reverse, it just really feels like there was a lot of heavy energy surrounding this connection, whether that was because of people around you or just your overall connection together. It does feel like it was very burdensome. I feel like it was something that was keeping both of you bogged down, and I feel like stepping away from this and not choosing to move forward with this is the best move here for both of you. We're going to clarify. Alright, Capricorn, clarifying here, we have the Three of Swords, we have the Five of Swords reverse, we have the World, we have the Ten of Swords. Yeesh. Definitely something has gone awry within this relationship, or I feel like there was just a major ending. Honestly, I feel like it wasn't even like a difficult ending. I feel like it was something that you both saw coming. Because the Five of Swords in the reverse tells me that like there was the potential for a big fight, there was the potential for conflict, but there doesn't really seem to be any indication of the fact that you decided to move forward with a big argument. I feel like if anything, either you or this other person have definitely been heartbroken. You either came into this already heartbroken, or you got your heart broken in this connection, whether it's with this new person or somebody else. But it's feeling like this is something that's kind of karmic in nature. The fact that we have the world here. The world and the magician to me are very similar energies. I see the world as the type of universal manifestation energy, but I see the magician as the internal manifestation type of energy. So it's the micro and the macro of very similar energies. There needed to be these things that happen between you two for a lot of lessons to be learned, a lot of karma to be cleared. I feel like this is just something clearing a lot of karmic debt for both of you. I feel like the fact that there's a Ten of Swords here, it's really just speaking about the fact that, like, yes, this was very tumultuous, but it's coming to an end. The tumultuous emotions are subsiding, and you're going to be able to come into a nice state of balance and peace once you kind of give this the space it needs to clear out of your system. Give yourself the time to grieve, give yourself the time to process your emotions, and really just allow things to move out of your life so you can make room for new things to come in. Clarifying closing message. Okay, clarifying closing message, we have the Wolf. Wolf says, listen to your inner wisdom and enjoy the gift of freedom. So I think one way for you to kind of step out of this mentally burdensome energy surrounding this connection is to, 1, go into meditation, 2, rely on people that you trust. It could be friends, family, whatever it is. And 3, just kind of letting yourself off the hook for everything. You know what I mean? I feel like, yeah, like things could have gone wrong and you could have said or done things better, but it's really no sense in beating yourself up over what happened. So just find forgiveness for yourself, if anything. Forgive yourself for what happened. Forgive yourself for tolerating whatever it is you were enabling. And just understand that there is a deeper lesson here for you. And that's why it says, listen to your inner wisdom. Go within and really find the answers in the solitude. Find the truth in the silence, and understand the fact that there will be inner wisdom being presented to you should you take the time to yourself to process and transmute everything associated with this connection. I feel like a lot of the times when it comes to connections like this that can be very intense and emotionally tumultuous, we don't always necessarily have the time or give ourselves the time to process everything that has happened. Because I feel like a lot of the times it's like you're back to back with these kinds of situations, especially when they're karmic in nature. To help clear karmic debt, it's like something will happen that triggers something, and then before you have time to fully recover from that, something else will happen, and then you have other things in life happening on top of that. And so that's why it's so important to have your space and to really have this type of separation from people, because it allows you the time to process and transmute everything that has happened, even things that you didn't realize you needed to process, right? And you don't recognize it until you actually slow down. And so I think that's just the main message here, is to slow down, tread carefully, be gentle with yourself, and just enjoy this freedom while you have it, you know what I mean? I feel like that can be a beautiful thing, you know, you have a little bit more time for yourself, a little bit more time to do things you love, you know, follow your dreams and do things of the sort. But I wish you the best, Capricorn, but that is all I have for you. So if you'd like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. I love you so much, stay safe and stay calm out there, but I will see you in your next reading. Bye-bye. Hello Aquarius, hope you're doing well. Keep in mind this can apply to any Aquarian placement you have in your chart. If you're a cross-watcher, I do not judge you, but keep in mind that while you may not have an Aquarian placement, you will have Aquarius in one of your houses. That said, I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. Keep in mind time and energy are fluid, so these messages can apply to you, another person, or vice versa. Don't force it if it doesn't fit, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. That said, we're going to do 3 shuffles and get into your energies for the weekend of May 1st to May 3rd, 2020 in love, keeping in mind this can apply at any time you watch it. work for you. Okay, Aquarius, we have the Six of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands reverse, we have the Hermit reverse, the Five of Wands, Seven of Swords reverse, and the Nine of Pentacles. And the Four of Swords, we'll take that too, as well as the Three of Pentacles here. I feel like right now is a good time for you to rest and balance yourself out. I feel like you need to start going within. I feel like you need to really step back from the physical realms. Really just take some time for yourself. I mean, this has really just been the overarching thing for almost all of the signs. Very similar messages here of really focusing on independence. Make sure you're giving enough to yourself. Make sure you're not giving too much to other people. And if you are giving to other people, make sure you're not doing so with any obligation or expectations, right? That's oftentimes going to set us up for disappointment. But I mean, I do feel like some major changes are underway for you. I feel like you're reevaluating the ways in which you have operated in relationships. I feel like it's surrounding the reciprocation and the dynamics of give and take within the connection. I don't really see any cards on the table. We don't have anybody else's energy coming through. But I feel like there are still a lot of things for you to be learned right now surrounding love and relationships. Because when we have the Six of Pentacles, to me that could represent a balanced connection, but it more so to me represents equal give and take. But it can also represent the disparities between give and take. And it really gets us to look at what it means to be a giving person, but also what it means to be open to receiving from other people. Because I think a lot of the times, it seems like there tends to be a guilt of receiving from others. At least I know that's something I've experienced and other people I know have experienced. Some people just don't feel comfortable taking from other people, even if it's being offered to them, selflessly. And so I feel like that's a major lesson for you too. It's realizing that you don't have to do everything by yourself. And while we do have this Nine of Pentacles representative of independence here, I feel like this is representing a type of physical abundance in terms of people giving to you. It can be financially, it can be, kind words, it can just be help in whatever it is you're doing. It's this lesson of needing to be open to receiving that and not being so closed off, right? I feel like that's what the Hermit is speaking to me of right now, which is interesting because I never perceived the Hermit this way. But when I'm seeing the Hermit in the upright, to me what I'm seeing is somebody who's very wise, somebody who's very kind, very open, very reciprocal in the sense of, they've really done the inner work and they've really learned about themselves enough to understand that they can give from a place and receive from a place of fullness, and they're not really giving away or taking away from anybody or themselves, right? So it's this energy with it in the reverse. It's kind of like, hey, maybe you should wisen up a little bit to the fact that you not being open to receiving from other people is kind of what is keeping you from getting to this full 10 of Pentacles. Because even though it's a 9 and it is a beautiful, abundant energy, it's not the full 10, and the full 10 is like the epitome of material abundance, I guess, if you want to look at it like that. But what I'm seeing right now is the fact that we have the Four of Swords here and the Three of Pentacles. These cards are telling me that you need to take this time to yourself to understand why it is you're so afraid of opening up to other people, but why it is you're so afraid of receiving what you're so worthy of, right? Because I know you want to be loved and you want to receive things surrounding relationships and love and what have you, but it's like you have this kind of energy of being closed off a little bit. It's almost out of fear. It's like you're afraid of being hurt, you're afraid of somebody being sneaky, but it's like I'm seeing here, whoever this is trying to give to you, that doesn't really seem like that, because the Seven of Swords is in reverse. So that sneaky energy is really just flipped. They're not really being shady. I think you're projecting a shadiness onto this person because you're afraid of them repeating the past of people you've experienced before. But it looks like it's a pretty beautiful energy, right? When I see the Five of Wands right now, to me that feels like somebody that wants to expand upon a foundation. It feels like a decision has been reached, and there may be some small communication here and there. Just you being closed off is causing this person to maybe think twice about whether they want to move forward with this. But it looks like even though there's nobody else on the table, that's what I'm seeing here. It's like the Seven of Wands reverse tells me that you're not being open enough with them, you're not speaking enough to them, you're maybe not being open enough about your emotions. I think you should maybe try to tell this person how you feel a little bit, especially if they're trying to initiate that kind of conversation within the connection. You need to be okay with, well, you don't need to. I'm not trying to say what you need to and don't do. This is just the way I'm channeling these messages. But the advice that Spirit is giving me to give to you is to be a little bit more open, being a little bit more transparent as to what it is you need and want, and try to understand what it is you need and want and whether those are the same thing within yourself, because they're going to be different, and a lot of the times what we need and what we want depends on the matters of how much we dwell in our egoic tendencies, right? So it's really understanding what our egoic tendencies are, where those come from, how we've taken those on from other people, and what it is we need to do to kind of separate ourselves from that, but still maintain a sense of integration between our shadow, which would be our ego, so like our ego and our light, whatever it is. So higher self and your ego. I mean, there's so many different terms you could apply to mean the same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and clarify for you. Yeah, Aquarius, we have the Five of Cups reverse. We have Four of Swords again. We have Temperance reverse. Then we have the Chariot reverse and the Magician. I'm just interested at the fact that we have the Four of Swords twice, so I feel like there's something I'm not getting here. The energy I'm picking up with this Four of Swords being here twice, a message that came to me while I was contemplating on it is you're just too tired. You're really tired, and I feel like it's because you are focusing too much on the dynamics of the situation. So it's like the energy of earlier, similar in the sense of like, you're afraid of being open to this person, but it's like you're also overthinking things like way too much, and I feel like that's impacting your ability to be open. And I feel like this has a lot to do with your past. I feel like there's something in your past that is causing you to be this way right now. And that's why the universe is trying to get you to settle down a little bit, slow down, and bring yourself back into balance. Because the Temperance reverse here tells me that you're just really out of whack right now in terms of your emotional balance and your emotional stability. And that's not to make you feel bad, that's literally something everybody goes through at some point, right? But the Chariot in the reverse tells me you are a little bit out of control, but this is an opportunity for you to gain control over yourself and your emotions. So that's why I really feel like this is happening for a big reason for you. I feel like this is something you've been battling with for years, and you're finally at a position where you have the tools necessary to overcome it. I feel like before, when you've been through this in the past, you didn't really know what to do. Like maybe you weren't fully aware of what you were experiencing, and it wasn't until a few years later and, a couple of relationships that you started to realize and put the pieces together, like, okay, maybe me acting like this is tied to this person, but maybe this whole thing with this person is tied to like somebody from like way, way back. And then maybe that's tied to like something that happened in my childhood, right? And so it's really kind of learning to do that regressive type of evaluation of your emotions and understanding where a lot of these issues stem from, because I feel like by doing so, you kind of take the power away, right? You take the mystery out of the situation and you kind of give it a logical explanation of like, okay, well, I understand that this makes me feel this way, but like, why am I reacting so much? Why am I so reactionary? And by understanding the mechanisms behind that, you can kind of take the missing link out of there. Because the missing link was that you didn't know what it was, but now that you do, the missing link is gone, and now you understand what's happening, which means you can logically kind of reverse engineer the difficulties you may be experiencing and focus on healing what it is that originated as this issue manifest. Right? Well, that's what I'm seeing with the Magician, is like now is the opportunity for you to reinvent yourself, to rebirth, to really heal on a deeper level. And I feel like whatever this is that's catalyzing this for you is a really beautiful blessing for you right now, because this is something that's going to continue to plague your life if you don't face it. And I feel like now more than ever is the perfect time for you to face it, especially given we're in Taurus season. It's a really good time to slow down and focus a little bit more on self-care and really learn to flow a bit more. Because I know Aquarian energy within the Tarot, because it's of swords, swords can be a masculine type of energy. Masculine energy being very go-getter, very just like planned, organized, and materially focused in some ways. Not in the sense of being materialistic, but I'm talking about in the material realms. But when you think about the flip side to that, the the need to find the balance of feminine energy within you. That's going to ask you to be a bit more flowy, to be a bit more open with your emotions. That doesn't always mean being open with other people. Maybe another flip side of what came out earlier is learning to be more honest with yourself and not lying to yourself about what it is that bothers you, what it is you're feeling, what it is you feel like you should do. And is really learning to set aside your fears and face your shadow in order to get to a deeper sense of balance. And it's honestly going to improve every aspect of your life. But I'm going to go ahead and get a closing message here for you. Okay, closing message here for you, Aquarius. We have Water Buffalo. The Water Buffalo says, face life head on with courage and reclaim the brave spirit within you. Yeah, so I feel like this just speaks of needing to take your power back. I feel like you have given your mind and emotion too much power, and you really haven't given yourself enough credit for being able to handle everything that you have. I feel like a lot of the times when you go through traumatic events and a lot of things happen, you don't always necessarily give yourself the credit you deserve, because you don't always necessarily look at it from an objective perspective. You just kind of see it as if, oh yeah, this is normal for me. I've been through this, I've been through that. I've lived with this for so long. It's a pretty normal thing. But I think a lot of the times we fail to really give ourselves the credit we deserve because we don't see how difficult something is until we're fully out of it and healed from it, even though there's layers to the healing, right? But I feel like more than anything right now, again, final closing message for you. Take this time to yourself. Take this time to balance yourself out. Really kind of learn to find a balance between your light and your shadow. Learn to kind of tame your ego a little bit. Learn to be a little bit more honest with yourself about what it is you're actually feeling. And just stop lying to yourself, honestly, even if it's little lies here and there. If something's bothering you, be open and honest with the fact that it's bothering you. You don't always have to say it to another person, but just be open about it with yourself and acknowledge that. And by doing so, you take away a lot of the power that your emotions can tend to have over your life. But that said, that is all I have for you, Aquarius. If you'd like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. I love you so much. Stay safe and stay calm out there, but I will see you in your next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, Pisces. Hope you're doing well. Keep in mind this can apply to any Pisces placement you have in your chart. If you're a cross-watcher, I do not judge you, but keep in mind that while you may not have a Pisces placement, you will have Pisces in one of your houses. That said, I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. Keep in mind, time and energy are fluid, so these messages can apply to you and another person and vice versa. Don't force it if it doesn't fit. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. That said, we're going to do 3 shuffles and get into your energies for the weekend of May 1st to May 3rd, 2020 in love, keeping in mind this can apply at any time you watch it. Okay, cut the deck for you. Okay, Pisces, we have the Hermit reverse, we have the 7 of Wands reverse, we have the 5 of Wands, bottom of the deck, we have Prince of Pentacles reverse, 10 of Cups, Ace of Wands reverse, 6 of Cups. Alright, so let's straighten these out for you. We can have your energy on the table with these water energies here with the Cups, 10 of Cups and 6 of Cups could be your energy here. But let's see, what's going on? So what I'm hearing is you're going to find love where you least expect it. That's kind of the energy I'm getting right now. It's almost this energy of looking for love in the wrong places, is what I'm being told. It's like it's this energy of associating with people who aren't committal or people who are emotionally unavailable. I see this as somebody else's energy here. This Prince of Pentacles reverse with the 5 of Wands and the 7 of Wands reverse. That's telling me this person here is very closed off. They're very emotionally unavailable. They're really non-committal in some ways. Seems like very flighty, very unreliable type of energy, very immature and selfish type of person. And is really needing to stop martyring yourself for the sake of other people's comfort. Because what I'm seeing is the Ten of Cups is available to you, but not through this relationship. And if you keep trying to look for this in this relationship, you're going to be disappointed again and again. Because it looks like you've been trying this with this person for a while and it's just not working, right? It's not working. This person isn't really seeming to be like a committal type of energy here. And so it's just learning to be okay with that and learning to accept the fact that maybe that dynamic is changing. Maybe what could have been isn't now, and now you just have to accept the fact that maybe it's just a platonic friendship, and that's okay too. That's just as valuable and just as important in your experience. But what I'm seeing here is like, it's just interesting because we have the Six of Cups here, and we have the Ace of Wands reverse. And so kind of trailing off of earlier, I feel like this can talk about the decision to not move forward with somebody else, or maybe this person decided to not move forward with you. But it looks like at the end of the day, this is going to be serving a very important purpose within clearing karmic debt, but also within emotional fulfillment. Because we have the Ten of Cups here, and the Ten of Cups can talk about the ending of emotional cycles, the ending of relationships, the ending of cycles in relationships, but it can also speak of the emotional fulfillment that is on the way to you. But it's interesting here is because we have the Ace of Wands and the Six of Cups, and to me that tells me there is a false start with somebody from the past, right? Six of Cups being the soulmate card, the past person card, the card of nostalgia, and it's looking like somebody from your past, perhaps this Prince of Pentacles, may have shown up. Maybe you're considering going back to this person. Maybe there's this desire to maybe rekindle things. But what it's looking like is there's going to be a false start. There's going to be more of the same, not enough communication, a lot of emotional unavailability, and it's really understanding the fact that, like, if you want to repeat this, like, go ahead, I'm not going to stop you. But it's really not changing the fact of the matter that a lot of the lessons may have been the same. And so maybe this is something that needs to happen for the healing of both people. Like maybe either you or this other person is going to be the catalyst to learning the deeper lessons between you two right now. But the fact that we have the Hermit in the reverse here, to me tells me there is the need to kind of wisen up a little bit. There is the need to go within, to kind of step outside of the situation for a bit and start learning the lessons of the past and really start understanding some of the deeper wisdoms that are presenting themselves to you. Because when the Hermit is in the reverse, that tells me you are not really heeding your inner wisdom. You're not really listening to what it is that has come through for you in the past, and you're just kind of going with the flow, hoping that a playful approach to this new connection or revisitation of an old connection is going to yield different results with the same ingredients, right? So let's clarify. Okay, clarifying here for you. We have the Queen of Cups reverse. We have the Two of Cups. We have the Four of Cups and the Ace of Cups. I'll leave it there. So let's see here. This could be, I would say counterparts, but really not at all. I'm not seeing anything like that on the table. It feels like a past soulmate type of connection. But I'm feeling like right now is a good time for you to focus on your emotional independence, and that's what I see here with this Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups. Ace of Cups to me can represent the emotional independence. Two of Cups to me can represent the balance between feminine and masculine energies within yourself. But I feel like you may be very hurt. But when the Queen of Cups is in reverse, to me that tells me somebody's very hurt. And I feel like this is you in this situation. I feel like you're very hurt. You may be very disappointed. You thought something was going to work out different than it did, and it didn't. And so now you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do from here. Well, I think the only thing for you to really do is focus on yourself. And this Four of Cups is here to get you to look at some of the ways in which you may have sacrificed yourself emotionally for this connection. In what ways have you set your needs and wants aside just to make another person comfortable, or to try to make something work just for the sake of having a relationship, right? Because I feel like a lot of the times we stay with people or we try to make things work because we're either afraid of being alone, or we just want to be in a relationship so bad that we're more willing to compromise and really just overlook a lot of the things that may be red flags at some point. So I was really needing to understand the fact that you may have been working in this way for a while, And that's why these things aren't working. And that's why these situations keep coming back around, because you keep acting in the same ways. You keep trying to make things work in the same ways. It's like you're using the same recipe to make a completely different meal, right? And so you can't have like the 5-star meal if you're using the recipes and ingredients that are included in like 1-star meals. Like, I don't know if this is a good analogy here, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you really can't build what you want using ingredients that aren't supposed to be used for what it is you need, right? We're going to get a clarifying closing message for you, though. Okay, Pisces, closing message here for you. We have the orangutan. This came out for, I don't know, it was like 2 signs ago, so it was Capricorn. So it says, working to live joyously, not living to work. I think this is speaking of the fact that relationships shouldn't be as difficult as you may have experienced. I feel like when difficulties in relationships become the norm, we tend to forget the fact that we deserve better, because that's all we know. If all we know is being mistreated, or if all we know is emotional unavailability or lack of commitment or immaturity in communications, then how do we know anything else, right? So it's a matter of telling ourselves over and over that, yes, I know I deserve better and I'm not going to tolerate any less. And this is what this orangutan card is here to tell you. It's like, you need to recognize your worth, but like stay true to that. It's one thing to recognize it and understand it. It's another thing to stay authentic to that and really holding yourself accountable to maintaining those internal boundaries of what you will and won't accept, right? So it's recognizing the fact that in order to get this Ace of Cups with somebody else, it's going to need to take you being strong, resilient, and just true to yourself. And that's really what's going to create the space for something more authentic to come into your life. Whoever this is that you may be dealing with, whoever this is that is falling away, it is happening for a very big reason. And it is to get you to be real with yourself. It is to get you to stand in your power. It is to get you to take your power back. But more so, it's to get you to understand what your internal boundaries look like and what it feels like to maintain those boundaries, and understanding that you are worthy of what it is you seek, but you need to treat yourself as if you are worthy, right? But that said, that's all I have for you, Pisces. If you'd like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. I love you so much. Stay safe and stay calm. I will have parts 1 and 2 in the description. That concludes the reading for this week. So yeah, this concludes part 3. I love you all so much. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you in your next reading. Bye-bye.